I'd like to now transition our discussion to another Innovation in Action Award winner last year, and that was Liberty Mutual and Hortonworks. And very a different way of thinking about big data and how companies can use it. And so I'm going to turn the floor over to Cindy Maike, the VP of Industry Solutions at Hortonworks.
Karen, thank you so much. And Cheryl, great presentation. And I think I'm going to probably build, build upon some of the ideas and concepts. Last year and for the last few years, we've had the opportunity to work with Liberty Mutual. And, you know, I think Sesh and Brianna, when they presented the award last year, they had a real challenge where Liberty Mutual was in the process of looking to launch a new line of business. And collectively, when you look at where Liberty Mutual was at and where they wanted to go, launching a new business, how do you many times historically we would have said, okay, well, how do I fit these new concepts and so forth into my existing, architecture and the applications that we have? You know, we launched new products. We're like, okay, so how do we need to reconfigure our core systems? How do we make sure that we can get the right analytics and so forth? And Sesh and Brianna, both the business and IT, really working together. And Sesh's comments and phrase about can an elephant run faster than a cheetah, I think was quite a phenomenal statement, because they were able to actually, from concept to launch in less than 9 months, actually introduce a brand new line of business with its core systems, applications, the analytics that supported that. And we had the opportunity as Hortonworks to work with them from the data and analytics side. So kind of thinking about what they were doing to make that switch, to do some new innovation and so forth, and maybe in certain aspects remove some of the constrained thinking, is blending some of the concepts that Cheryl talked about InsurTech, but then also thinking about, could they make use of the public cloud? Could they actually have an agile mindset and truly be data-driven / insight-driven with a theme of they now were a technology business that sells insurance. And I think fundamentally when they removed some of the constraints of this is how we've done it in the past, they had the opportunity to say it's a new field for us. So what can we actually do? Can we take advantage of the new capabilities that are in the marketplace across all aspects of the InsurTech for the new policy systems, for the new distribution system, and then also being able to look at the data and analytics, because as you're launching a new business, one of the things that you want is more real-time information in regards to what's the uptake of the new product launches. Am I actually, being able to leverage and understand, and are we being able to do this profitably? So I think from looking where they were at the end of 2017 is really they focused on, from a data and analytics perspective, the operational BI, leveraging, some of the customer diagnostic analytics. So looking at customer, looking at revenue, looking at the risk and the loss. So kind of some of your operational, kind of looking in the, I won't say looking in the rear view mirror, but really kind of reporting upon how well things are doing. But also with that, knowing with new product launches, could they leverage new capabilities around predictive analytics, being able to look at the machine learning aspects to help them both from a sales, putting in with the line of business they had, making sure that they could have models that would help them both predict and deter some of the fraud, and then also what was the claim likelihood, and then within the claim likelihood, looking at the frequency of those claims. And as you look at where they are, and I know they're going through some transitions right now, being bought by Lincoln Financial, but this specific aspect is also moving forward with some of the data analysis, being able to use the machine learning capabilities and the artificial intelligence to actually help them with, kind of augmented intelligence, I think is how Sash put it, to actually help them look at their underwriting processes, being able to use conversational chatbots and chat agents, but also knowing from a business architecture perspective that as you're launching new products, new customers, and so forth, is you have to be able to bring together the multiple different types of data that they have, whether it was the streaming, it was kind of the unstructured data, it was also your historical, core system data that was structured, and that's where they really leverage the concept of a data lake to help them do that. But I wanted to take just a little bit of an observation, and I've been talking to Karen and Deb about this. I think as we move forward, just from an industry perspective, is there an opportunity for the industry to actually become an industry of cheetahs, those that can actually, move fast? Because as we look at, our risk, the nature of insurance, our customers, everybody is really moving to that connected world. And one thing I think that we have to look at is just the type of data that we're going to have available. And it's not data for data's sake. It's like, how can I actually find the business insights? And there's a lot of key metrics, and I think Mark Brading from SMA has pulled together some of the good concepts around, just some of the new data sources. But I really want to challenge the industry that when we look at data and analytics, we have to think about it holistically. I think many times what I'm seeing is some organizations were still very honed in on looking at just the reporting and looking at the predictive nature, which are kind of how we've been founded. But holistically, we've got to look at the more real-time information. How can we actually monitor a risk? How can we actually monitor insights into how the world is changing and what our customers are doing? But, I think personally, we're in that technology age, but I think we're really in that learning and discovery age as it pertains to data. Because as we move forward, our customers are looking for us more than just, being there to pay a claim, but how can we actually make them safer, more, and provide better insights into managing risk and so forth. So looking at loss control differently. And also from an underwriting perspective is how can we use some of the new connected data sources that are out there to actually help us keep track of the different policyholder information and monitor the profitability. So it's no longer that, we're just looking at, here's a policy that's 6, 12 months or whatever. It's, we're seeing new products being introduced that are, event or lifetime event. I just want coverage for this specific time. So that's going to require us to also think about how we leverage data and analytics within our organizations. And I think really if I look back at, what Liberty was doing in this line of business, they were very forward thinking and thinking about what the future is and then how do they actually, embrace and leverage some of the technology advances that have happened in the marketplace. So Karen, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, great. Cindy, I have one follow-up question. I mean, I love the idea of an industry of cheetahs. I love that. I love that. Fast-moving, agile, adjusting. And I know that you have worked with Liberty, and, just one thing that I think through is, almost the courage, like trying to look at data. I mean, even as they were trying to go from just operational BI to more automated exploring of data and analytics. How does a company who maybe is not so much of a startup, what does it take for them to really challenge the norm, to not just follow the regular steps of the past, but think about being a cheetah? How do they get into a more learning environment? What type of courage or cultural fortitude do they have to really shift that thinking?
And I'm just going to steal some of the words from Sash on, what they did is they said, as they embarked on this, is how do you remove the constraints? Because many times I think when we look at innovation, and I see this across a lot of companies, is we have great ideas and so forth, but then it's always we think about, but how can we implement it in what we currently have? And I used this analogy a couple of times ago is as we look at innovation, and not like it's rip and replace you've got to start everything Project Greenfield, but sometimes you have to have the ability to say, you know what, that particular piece, we can't take that piece of baggage with us. And, you know, I used the analogy the other day. Sometimes when you move into a new house and you try to take your old furniture and put your old furniture into the new house, you don't like the new house. So, you know, can we, and that's a mindset shift, is, you know, you can't always carry forward, you know, certain things you have to take with you, but sometimes, you know, forward-thinking innovation is you've got to remove the constraints.
So, you know, that thinking differently and structuring differently and understanding you're looking for a different outcome, which you're right, it does so jump off of what Cheryl was speaking about before, is, you know, you have to have some support from different levels of the organization. You've got to be able to start thinking beyond today's world to get to a different place. Just doing it a little bit differently, just incremental improvement sometimes really doesn't do it for you. It doesn't make you from an elephant to a cheetah. It doesn't make you move faster at times if you're just doing incremental change from what you already have.